Welcome to Don Barabaldo. Just kidding. We hope you'll come back next year, although this is such a great setting. Next year, maybe we'll just bring some cars over here. Look, I want to first congratulate and thank the Mount Vernon District for doing an incredible job with Ralph Northam. 68% Mount Vernon District. You only lost one precinct, only Westgate, by just a handful of votes. And thank you for electing Kathy Tran and for sending Mark Sickles and Paul Krizak back. And just thank you for being a strong, active, passionate, committed, wonderful community of Democrats. The world will be fairer and juster just because of your work. Look, there's so many different things to talk about tonight. I actually spent hours this afternoon writing. Making our country safe for Americans who were brought here as children, trying to fight for women's right to determine their own health destiny, trying to stop all the Trump destruction of the EPA and the State Department, the Interior Department, the undermining of our environmental regulations. So many different things. And of course, very close to my heart and all of us is mitigating the existential crisis that is climate change for every one of us and our kids and grandkids. But there's only one thing that confronts every one of us tonight, and that's the prevalence of gun violence. There were 38,658 Americans killed by guns last year. This is not what American exceptionalism is supposed to mean. 96 Americans are killed by guns every day, including 7 children every day. 50 women are killed every month by their husbands or their boyfriends. And almost 23,000 people took their lives last year with a gun. And the mass murders of innocents: Parkland 17, Las Vegas 58, Orlando 49, Sandy Hook Elementary 20 kids, 6 adults, Isla Vista, California, Columbine 15. Just to call out the names of the dead would take days and days and days. And here's an astounding thought. Most of us are going to live an average of 80 years, right? Some will live to 90, some. In our 80 years, 3 million Americans will be killed by guns. That is twice as many, that's 5 times as many as all Americans killed in combat in every war since the beginning of this country. It's more than the population of 19 states. Just think of it, 3 million Americans will be killed while we're alive. And the compounding tragedy is we know what to do. I lived in Switzerland for 4 years. Their firearm rate was a fraction of ours. Germany, Austria, Sweden, UK, France, but in fact, the Onion headline says it all. It says, "No way to prevent this," says the only nation where this regularly happens. And they have published that headline 20 different times. So look, there's a lot of things we can do, and I don't want to bore you, but let me quickly tell you at least 20 policy changes. We have some great, the next wonderful congressman from the 10th District of Virginia is here tonight. And I know they're all listening. So 20 quick things. We can ban sales to the mentally ill. We can ban assault military weapons of war. We can ban semi-automatic guns. We can ban high-capacity magazines. We require universal background checks for guns and ammunition. No sales to known or suspected terrorists. We'd love to get Barbara Comstock to vote on that bill. We can ban sales to convicted stalkers, limit ammunition purchases, fund the ATF, report lost or stolen guns, limit the number of guns that can be purchased each month, require the need for a gun, expand mental health treatment, train gun store salespeople to be alert for psychosis or depression, make gun manufacturers liable for negligence and more, require gun licenses, create a national gun registry, require a 3-day waiting period, ban bump stocks. The list goes on, and not a single one of those violates the Second Amendment. Not a single one of those takes away the ability of an honest American citizen to buy a gun. And every one of those is supported by a majority of the American public. Every one of those. So why haven't we done a single thing? It's easy to blame it on the NRA, and their influence on Republican members of Congress and on state legislatures. And yes, Wayne LaPierre did get his sit down with Donald Trump in the White House on the anniversary of the Sandy Hook massacre. But he still doesn't have a vote. Instead, we have to look at the actions of our elected leaders who refuse to allow a vote on any of these measures And if we ever did have a vote, they would vote no to refuse it. I don't like personal attacks, and I don't like impugning the motives of others. But our refusal to accept the responsibility to address gun violence is deeply immoral. Yeah. It is wrong, it is sinful, and it is express complicity in these scandalous deaths. You are partnering if you don't do anything about it. I don't know if there's a heaven or a hell, even though I did go to Gonzaga. I'm still not sure whether there's a heaven or a hell. But if there is one, you can be sure that your Creator, our Creator, is going to be asking, what did you do to stop the murder of these children? Edmund Burke said, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. But really, how can you possibly consider yourself a good person if you do nothing? Again and again and again and again. On Thursday, Paul Ryan said, and I quote, "This is one of those moments when we just step back and count our blessings." Well, this is the same man who took $171,000 in blessings from the NRA in the last election. And I say this with suppressed anger and a sense of wonder. How does he sleep at night? How do the images of the dead children, the mothers and fathers, the brothers and sisters, the husbands and wives, not haunt his dreams? Because they do haunt my dreams. But we're not helpless. Look what we did 3 months ago in Virginia. Kathy Cran, 15 seats. We can do the same thing. We can do the same thing in just 9 months. There are 4, maybe 5 House seats in Virginia we can pick up. We have a great chance in Virginia's 10th and many others. And if we take back the House and get closer in the Senate, that's the single most constructive thing we can do in our lives to change gun violence. We can pass these things in just a year. And change is never easy, right? My daughter tonight, 22 years old, she says it's never going to change in our lives. This is just what we have. And I was like, no. We have to be patient. We have to keep working. We have to be courageous. We have to elect officials who will make a difference on this gun violence. We've come a long way on many, many different things. This is the thing that is front and center for every one of us now. Just think about the 96 Americans a day dying from gun violence, and then let's make sure that we elect some great candidates this November. Thank you very much.